Welcome back to the Boot Tragedies. All right, now we're gonna focus some attention on the Pelicans. They'll get their little solo video, man. I've been kind of neglecting the Pelicans, but also it's nothing to talk about. So, if you've been following along, I've been hard on David Griffin for the longest. Last year, some of the signings he made and some of the moves he made, I wasn't really a big fan of. But this all season so far, hey man, he's getting an A+ from me. A++, honestly, just for the things he's done so far. Still a lot of work left to do, obviously, but we'll just jump into right in the NBA draft. Trey Murphy, excellent pick. My number one target for the Pelicans was Kispert, I think his name was, the Gonzaga 3-point shooter, the best shooter in the draft. He went before us, can't blame him for that. But Trey Murphy the third, excellent shooter, excellent shooter. Went to Virginia for his junior year, I believe. 3-and-D guy, elite defender, super elite defender, and a great shooter. That's exactly what the Pelicans need. Don't really need a guy with the ball, that needs the ball in his hands. Need a guy that's going to play, defense on the wing. He's about a 6'8", 3-and-D guy. I mean, you can't really ask for more. He shot over 40%, in his college career. I think up to 42% this past season. So, obviously can really shoot the rock. And, that's what the Pelicans need. We need shooters. You have to surround Zion with shooters, man. And that's what they, try to address with that first round pick. I kind of compare him to Trevor Ariza, which some of you may think, we want a, first round pick better than Trevor Ariza. Trevor Ariza was and still is a heck of a player. 3-and-D guy, championship piece on the Lakers roster and things like that. So you really can't go wrong, to find a that caliber guy, in any draft, honestly. Next, Herb Jones. I think he's going to be more of a project. We'll see if Vincent can work his magic with his shot. Not really a super shooter and things like that. But SEC Defensive Player of the Year. The one thing he's going to do every game, he's going to bring that defensive mentality. He's going to play defense. He might not shoot the ball a lot. He might not score a lot. But he's an athletic wing. He's going to play defense. So David Griffin obviously noticed. Pelicans couldn't defend a soul last year. Drafted two guys that are elite defenders, and one of them, was an elite 3-point shot maker in college. I can't blame him for that. And I also think they're kind of playing a long game with Herb Jones because obviously the new G League team that's going to be in Birmingham, Herb Jones went to Alabama, so maybe he'll spend some time there. I can see the business side of that as well. But Herb Jones is he's a pretty solid player. Couldn't really think of a pro comparison to him, so OG Anunoby is probably the closest I got to that. With the Raptors, both kind of going to struggle on offense, but they're going to bring their defense to the table every time. And obviously, as I've said before, and everyone knows now, Steven Adams and Bledsoe obviously have been traded. We've gotten Valanciunas out of that, who I think is a huge upgrade. But free agency starts today, and it's going to be absolutely insane. The Pelicans have some cap room to play with. Hart, Lonzo, or re-sign candidates. I think Lonzo's going to be too expensive, but a lot of other teams don't have the cap for him, so maybe some sign and trades in play and things like that. So we'll see, but I'll just go through a quick list of guys that's been linked, to the Pelicans, and I'll kind of give you a scale of 1 to 10, how bad I think the Pelicans should go after that, or want those guys. And we're just gonna start off with Lonzo Ball. He's an 8 for me. I think he still has very, a lot of potential to still grow. He got so much better this year shooting the ball and things like that. So for me, he's around a 7 or 8 personally. I would love him back, but there's some guys on this list that I would rather have over him, just because they're just better at this moment. And I think the Pelicans need to be turning to win now mode and not, still trying to build for that future. You can't build for the future forever. So Lonzo's about a 7 to 8. Josh Hart, he's about the same range for me. If the price is right, good defender, good rebounder, good 3-point shooter. He's just a good player because Villanova always put out, good players in the NBA. So he's around a 7 or 8. I think his price may get too high. I think somebody's going to overpay him, and he might, get out of Pelicans' reach just because of money. And speaking of Villanova, Kyle Lowry, an old Villanova vet, he's a 9 on my list. He's a 9, but it's with an asterisk. He's a 9 only if it's like a 2-year deal. I know he's going to get $30+ million a year, which I'm okay with that as long as it's 2 years, maybe 3 if we're stretching it being nice. But I don't want to sign Kyle Lowry to a 4-year, $100+ million deal, and when he's 39 or whatever, he's still going to be with the Pelicans, barely holding on. No one wants to see that. So he's a 9 with an asterisk. on a 2-year deal. Next, Spencer Dinwiddie. He's a 5 for me. If we strike out on all these other point guards, he's still a solid player. I don't think he really fits in, with the team and things like that. But he's still, he's still a real good player. Coming off ACL with our medical staff, I just don't, I really don't want to see that. Devontae Graham, he's a 3 because that means we're going to be signing and trading Lonzo to probably get him. Because obviously Charlotte wants Lonzo and LaMelo together. That'll be nice for them over there. And Jello's on the G League team. So I think they're going to be really pushing, for that Lonzo sign and trade. But Devontae Graham and Terry Rozier, they both are low, very 2s and 3s, on that wavelength for me. Don't want to deal with that. Who's up next? Duncan Robinson, 10, 10, 10, a million, 1,000. Any number that's over 10, that's my answer for him. Like I said earlier, the Pelicans need shooters. We need shooters so damn bad. I'm tired of people just standing out there not being able to knock down shots. And what do you know? Duncan Robinson, the best three-point shooter probably in the NBA that's not named or that doesn't play in Golden State. We'll just leave it at that. So we absolutely need him. Even if we have to overpay for him, I'm willing to overpay for a shooter because when you have a shooter, it just creates so much problems for a defense. Defense gravitate towards shooters coming off screens. Now you're leaving the paint open. You got Zion down there, and if you focus on Zion, you're leaving shooters open. So it's just a give and take. And the Pelicans need shooters, and he's the best shooter on the market. And if he's available for the right price, take him. Please, David Griffin, go after him. Next up, Norman Powell, also great shooter. Would love to have him. He's about a 7 on my list. I think he's going to probably get overpaid as well. That's why he's not, higher. So I don't know if we really want that money. But he's a better defender than Duncan Robinson. Even though Duncan Robinson, I know the old cliche of the white guys out there to shoot, can't play defense. Duncan Robinson's actually a solid defender. I mean, he's no Tony Allen out there, but he holds his own. I've watched a lot of Heat games, and he's not a bad defender by any chance. Reggie Jackson, he's a 6 on my list. Had an excellent playoff, showing with the Clippers this past year. I think if we can get him, that'll be pretty good. He's solid. Like he's super, super solid. Just a nice solid point guard, top 20 guy in the league, but point guard is super, super deep in the NBA. So saying top 20 is not necessarily a bad thing. All right, these next 2 guys, not sure if we can get them, but I want them. We'll start off with Malcolm Brogdon, not the sexiest name in the world, but great defender, absolutely great defender. And he can shoot the damn ball. He was a part of the 50-40-90 club. If you don't know what that is, I'll explain it. 50% from the field, 40% from the three-point line, 90% from the free throw line. And he can play defense? Sign me up immediately. Immediately. If we can sign and trade Lonzo for him, no disrespect to Lonzo, I need Malcolm Brogdon on this team right now, immediately. And if we're going to do a sign and trade, we can probably try to steal Miles Turner as well. Lonzo and Vail for Miles Turner and Brogdon, I would love that. I would love that. But that's dreaming. But I do think Brogdon, he's a 10+ for me. And last but not least, some of you may disagree, but another 10+ for me with an asterisk, 2 years or 3 years, Chris Paul. Come on home, man. Come on home. You had your best chance at a ring. I think those chances may be over. So just come on home. Come back to New Orleans. Give us 2 or 3 years, man, while you still have something in the tank. And just imagine, you saw what Chris Paul made Ayton. You saw what he made Tyson Chandler, David West, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan. He's never had somebody with this much talent as Zion. Blake was up there, but I think Zion's a little more talented than Blake. If Chris Paul can get his hands on Zion for a year, we thought Lob City was crazy. They might go insane with each other. So I would love to see Chris Paul back, in New Orleans and things like that. I don't think it's, going to happen, but I would love to see it. Honestly, I would love to see it. So, I mean, the big thing for the Pelicans, they have to decide, do they want to use Lonzo as a sign and trade bait, or do they want to just sign him outright and let him run the show? I'm not sure what they want to do with that, but hey, whatever they do, I'll be ready to react to it. I'm not quite sure, but it's a lot of options for the Pelicans. This is one of the most exciting off seasons they've ever had. They're actually, getting interest from guys back and things like that. It's not just a one-way street. So we'll see what happens, man. You have Brandon Ingram, you have Zion. That's just 2 guys that are great building blocks. You just need to put a team around them, put good players around them, put shooters around them, solid big men around them. Willie Green's a new coach, so he's looking like he's gonna have a solid foundation. We'll see, but man, the Pelicans, the future's looking bright. They just need to nail this free agency, which starts tonight. So I may be like on an emergency pod real quick once the Pels make some moves today. So we'll see, man. But that's like the biggest and longest Pelicans rant I've been on. I won't call this a rant, but the longest I've ever talked about them. So if you're a Pelicans fan and I've been neglecting them, here you go. This is for you. I thank y'all for tuning in, man. And I'm out.